What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rob's house. I had a long maintenance day today, so I'm already a little bit sweaty and gross. But the night is young, and we're gonna do an upgrade to the Corvette tonight, actually. So, last year, if you remember, I actually installed these Morimoto taillights. I'll give you a reminder if you don't remember that these are on my car, but they're pretty cool. They sequence for the turn signal and stuff, sequences like that. The reverse lights are over here. Just gives the car a little bit more of an aggressive look. But unfortunately, the thing I really don't like about these lights is the fitment is a little bit eh. In particular, these top corners of these bezels, they just don't fit right. And no matter what I do, this side actually looks okay. You can't actually really see it on this side. There's a little gap here, but it looks pretty bad on my driver's side. They just don't fit that well, which is kind of unfortunate, but I sold my factory lights, so I couldn't even go back to those. And I didn't really want to go back to those because the factory Z06 ones are just like these clear tail lights. I've seen people put like the tint covers over them, and that looks pretty cool actually, but I don't have mine, unfortunately, anymore, so that wasn't really an option for me. So I kind of was just dealing with these, but I didn't really have a better option. I could have bought another set of stock lights and tinted them, but I like how these look better than the stock ones with the sequencing and stuff, so I kind of just dealt with the bezel issue. Until Auto Revitalization has come out. I've actually never heard of the company before, by the way, but the company's Auto Revitalization. You can buy these lights from Vet Lights or you know, any vendor that sells aftermarket stuff for Corvettes. They are C8 style LED taillights. So these are actually, this is actually the assembly, and then it also has a reverse light that'll be on the side that's in the bezel. They're still in the plastic right now, but you can kind of see them there. And I had a buddy that had these on his car, and they fit so good. So I was like, I gotta get a pair. Cool thing about these is, you know, obviously they look like the C8 style light. They come in a bunch of different colors, so you can get them tinted or not tinted. You could get the white accent lights or the red accent lights. They still light up red either way, but it's just like whatever you prefer. If you want them like during the day when they're not illuminated, if you want them to look like white or clear smoked or red smoked, whatever. So I got the white smoked ones. So it's basically like if I had my factory lens, but tinted kind of, but they're LED. So they're crazy bright. Like at night, no one will have problems seeing them. It's not, the smoked lens won't affect anything. Cause that's the other thing that sketches me out about tinting stuff. It's not too bad on the C7 because the factory lights are LED. So it's not really a big deal, but on other cars where they just black out all of their lights, it's like, well, it's kind of a safety issue. So, you know, I don't like to go that route. But I've seen these illuminated and stuff. They're crazy bright. So I'm really excited to put them on tonight. The install is actually going to be exactly the same as when we did the Morimoto one. So if you've seen that video, this isn't really going to be new content aside from just seeing how these look in comparison. I'm going to get started here, do the swap. I'll time lapse everything. I'm going to remove the valance. You actually don't have to remove the valance, but the reason that I do is there are two tabs that are in where the exhaust is. There's like two 10 millimeters in there. And the problem with that is if you don't remove the valance first, and you kind of like, you have to undo those bolts either way, but if you don't first remove the valance and you pull the bumper back, you can actually scratch your exhaust tips. Now, it would be kind of toward the back, so you wouldn't really see them, but I'm meticulous about stuff like that. I don't want to mess my exhaust up. These Corsa exhausts are pretty expensive, and even just the replacement tip kit for them is several $100s. So I'd rather not ruin them. So I'm gonna go the extra mile and completely remove the valance. You actually don't have to lift the car at all to do this install. You can do everything on the ground. There's a series of 7 millimeter. If you see me take the bumper off before, you already know this, but there's a series of 7 millimeter bolts underneath. There are two 10 mils behind the reflectors. There's two 10 mils behind the tag. There's two 10 mils down by the exhaust. And then the valance will just come free. So then I can get the valance off first, and then I'll actually take all the bolts off the top. They're basically under. By the way, these are what the lights look. That's what the reverse lights look like on these. As you can see, see some light poking through on the side here. I'm not a fan of these bezels. This plastic thing with this rubber insulation comes right off if you use a. I'll have to get in here with my trim removal tool. But you basically just pop the clips out, and then there's a series of screws underneath it. You take all those off, and then what you can do, because you have, you peel these guys off too, the mud flaps. That will release the bumper. There's one more screw on each side that the bezels are blocking, so I'll actually take the bezels off first, undo that one screw, and then I can actually pull on the bumper to release it. I know this is a lot of information giving you guys up front, but I'm just gonna do a time lapse of all of this removal stuff. I've done other videos, whether it be the exhaust install, you can see me removing the valance. The previous Morimoto taillight install, you can see me going through the bumper removal process and stuff like that. So I don't want to spend too much time on bumper removal in this video. We'll just get a quick time lapse. I will swap the lights out and I'll show you what the new lights look like. I'll try to keep this video kind of short and just kind of, and the cool thing too is it's kind of a comparison because you've seen what the Morimoto ones look like in the car, and then at the end you'll see what these new C8 style ones will look like. So if you were thinking about buying either one of these, you'll know what they look like. The bezel's not a huge issue with the Morimoto ones, but the fitment is not perfect. So I'm very meticulous, so that kind of stuff bothers me. But the lights look really cool, and honestly, if you didn't look at the car up close, you probably wouldn't even notice it, and a lot of people don't notice it until I actually point it out, but it's just one of those things that, like, I did the install, so I know it's there, and it bothers me now. But anyway, you know what? This gives me an excuse to switch it up and do another video for you guys and show you another cool product for the Corvette. So anyway, let's get to that time lapse, and I'll come back and show you what the new lights look like. All right, guys, so the swap is done. That was actually really easy, really straightforward. Like I said, I took the valance off just to be safe so I didn't scratch up my exhaust with those two tabs. But the swap is complete. This is what they look like. This is what they'll look like during the day, kind of stealthy. They look tinted, look really aggressive. That's what they'll look like during the day. And then if I actually unlock the car, you can see these will light up red. The reverse lights will come on, and you'll actually see the sequence of the turn signal if I do this. Pretty neat, right? So as you can see, you have your actual running light, which is also, I guess the brake lights are these in the middle. Actually, let's find out. Let me go and hit the brakes and I can show you. All right, guys, so yeah, my hypothesis was correct. These lights kind of in between here are your actual brake lights, obviously with a third brake light as factory, and then along the top you have your sequencing turn signal on each side. So yeah, pretty happy with them overall. The install was really, really easy. The fitment is money on these things. Check it out. I'll show you up nice and close. You can see it fits super, super, super well. I'll give you the whole... Here, actually, I can turn the light off so you can see even better. This is just dirt, but I gotta clean it because I was moving stuff around. I got it all dirty, but yeah, it fits in there. I mean, before the Morimoto one was sticking way out on this side, so that looks pretty good. And then if we come to this side too, we actually have the lighting here because I have these big lights right behind me, and you can see same thing. It fits just perfectly along the edge. I definitely like these lights. It's pretty cool because it gives a little bit more of a modern look on the car because you have a C8 style light. Not only is the fitment absolutely awesome on these lights, but the install was super easy too. The bezels literally just clicked into place. You just line all the tabs up and kind of nudge them in and you can hear them all click one by one. The Morimoto ones are not like that. You have to flare them. I can actually show you. I have the old bezels here. And I don't know if you can see it, but I can see how I kind of flared them up. I used a heat gun and I had to actually kind of bend them up in order to get them to latch into place at all. If I didn't modify them, they literally wouldn't stay on. So the guys at Vent Lights told me, hey, just flare the tabs out and they'll click into place. And they did for the most part. It was just these top corners, this corner here, and then this corner here, that it just really wouldn't stay in place for some reason. Like they wouldn't click in. We don't have that issue with the auto revitalization lights. I highly recommend these. I think they look awesome. You know, they're LED, of course, so they'll last a really long time. They fit perfect. They're really easy to install. Nothing wrong with the stock lights either. Hey, if you like the stock lights, that's cool. And the Morimoto ones, they're cool. I mean, they look awesome. The Aventador style is super cool. And, you know, I'll kind of miss that. Although, honestly, I think this is a more classic Corvette look. It's like the C8 style swooshes in the lights. The classic Corvette look, right, is the 2 taillights on each side, the 4 taillights, right? So we're kind of back to that look now. And I'm feeling pretty good about that because, you know, as cool as the Aventador style lights were, you know, and are, it's Corvette. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, actually. Which ones do you like better? Do you like the Morimoto ones better? Or do you like these better? Worth noting, on these, you have that yellow, it still sequences for your turn signal, but the Aventador ones, it does the 1, 2, 3, actually kind of like a Mustang style, where it's like an integrated turn signal. So that is a little bit different. My biggest thing was the fitment, and I'm, you know, much happier with these, obviously. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you like the yellow sequencer? Do you like these lights, how they look? Or do you like the Morimoto ones where the running lights and the brake lights are the same, it just gets brighter when you hit the brakes instead of like these have the separate brake light. And also with the Morimoto lights, they have the integrated turn signal where the same thing, those 3 lights will just sequence as you turn, where this has, again, a separate light for turning indication. Let me know in the comments, let me know what you guys think. But anyway, that wraps it up for tonight. As usual, I hope this video is helpful, I hope this video is entertaining, and I'll see you guys next time.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're